welcome to the channel. I wanted to briefly give you some information about blood oranges. If you did not know, blood oranges originated from Italy. There are three common blood oranges that you will hear about, and that is the Moro Blood orange, which is very popular, the Cinquenella blood orange, which have a spicy um, tang to it, and then they call it the Tuscan blood orange. The Moro Blood orange I know comes from, or the Cinquenella blood orange, one of the two, comes from Sicily. However, there are other varieties of blood oranges that you may not know about, which is the Cora, they call that part of the blood orange, the Valencia orange, and the navel orange. Not the Washington navel, but the navel orange. These are just some of the blood oranges that you can purchase if you're interested. Now, we all know that blood oranges do well in like a subtropical climate such as Florida, which is was one of the big producers of growing oranges until they had that big infestation of this type of fly, whatever, whatnot. And we know that they do well in California, because now California has taken up the upper hand of growing more citrus like oranges stuff to make orange juice. And then we also have Texas. You can grow in Arizona, Vegas, some places on northern East Coast, but it all depends where you are. South Carolina, North Carolina. Those are just a few places that you can grow oranges. Now, you will see a lot of oranges in the Mediterranean countries. They grow a lot of citrus. They also grow citrus in Israel. So if you didn't know that, that's something you can do some research on for yourself and get to know if you're interested. Now, one thing I want to tell you about the blood orange, the leaf is part of the black tea family. So when you're drinking black tea, just think about this type of leaf, because I don't know if you could actually make tea out of this leaf here, but they are actually related. The leaf is related to the black tea family or green tea family. Now, I want to also mention to you that when you grow citrus, whether it's in the ground or in the containers, you want to have an acidic soil. That acidic soil can be a rhododendron, Azaeus rhododendron, or a cactus mix, which basically have a mixture of sand, peat moss, sometimes have peat moss. It has different variety of amendments in it. It all depends where you get it from. 2 years ago, when I got my second citrus tree, I believe it was a Maya lemon, or it might be the Washington navel, I end up contacting a company called Four Winds Growers. They are a big company that grows citrus, and here in the west coast of California, where I'm living currently. And I wanted to know some more information about growing citrus, because at the time I didn't have no acidic soil, and I wanted to know what I can do. Yes, we know we got peat moss to your native soil or potting soil, but what you did not know, if you did not know this is something you can do. There's a company called Kellogg's Organics, and they actually sell the raised bed potting soil. You will actually see some videos of me actually using that soil. I sent them a picture, sent them information about this product, this soil that I want to use. Come to find out, you can use it. So I have used it on several of my citrus trees, and I also I believe I used it on the Moro Blood orange tree in a 15-gallon bag. And with that one, I added grow back, and then I added a little bit of peat moss. This one here, we did not do that. This is my old previous soil that I was growing my Carolina Reaper in. And all I did was just use the same soil and mix it with compost. Usually I don't mix compost in my soil. I just layer on top, but I wanted to make sure this tree had it because it has not fruited yet. This is a young tree, and it really doesn't need to be to fruit yet, unless you're in a rush to do so. And all you'll need to add is some potassium, basically, or molasses to get it to fruit. Did not want to do that this year. I wanted to be peaceful. I wanted to grow and get used to my climate. Now, the reason why I say that because I purchased this citrus tree in the month of May, and I believe it was May 23rd, and it was in its original container that I purchased it from my local garden nursery that is Green Acres here in Sacramento, and I wanted to get it acclimated to its environment here in my garden. And usually you will see people go ahead and pot it up quickly. That's something that we shouldn't do, because, especially when it's very hot and as the temperatures are in the triple digits, in the 90s and 80s constantly. And I wanted to make sure that I did not stress this tree out. You can use a vitamin B, vitamin D, whatever that stuff is. That works. It's a liquid feed. Then I want to use that. So I allow it to stay in this container for a couple of months until I was ready to actually pot it up. When you do pot your tree up, you want to at least, if it's in a 5-gallon container, you want to at least pot it up to at least a 10 gallons to a 15-gallon. And what happens is when we do that, we actually have to keep potting it up and keep potting it up, keep potting it up. If you don't want to go through that, you can go ahead and use a 20-gallon to a 40-gallon container, but your tree is not going to, the root system is not going to be acclimated to its new environment. Sometimes they don't like to be potted up to a 40-gallon. It all depends on the tree you're growing. You know, I cannot stress that enough. It all depends on what you're growing in that container. Now, all trees are made the same. They are different. So what I did to this soil amendment, I just used, and usually I don't do this, I added compost, I mix it in with the soil so that it can have some type of nourishment. Once I did that, I also lay a little bit more compost on top with leaves. And the reason why I added leaves is because those leaves is going to feed the soil throughout the winter and spring. Then I added a banana peel and I added some food scraps like sweet potato, yam peelings, because I made candy yams the other day, and I just added that as a food scrap. And then what I'm going to do is add the wood chips to hold moisture and to hold heat, because not all citrus can tolerate a frost or cold climates, such as the Aurora Suma, which can tolerate cold climate. Now, so what I'm going to do is add the wood chips, and that's also going to feed the orange tree. And what happens is the white stuff that you see on that tree is mycelium, which helps to feed the microorganisms in that tree. So guys, if you want to grow a blood orange tree, I hope you can use some of this information and take it with you, and then go to the library. Excuse me. Go to the library. Go to an online source, or go to your local garden nursery or someone who is growing citrus trees, and ask them how did they grow their tree. Like I said, not every tree is the same. Not every microclimate is the same, and not every soil will be able to hold that tree or allow that tree to grow in that environment. So you have to do your research on whatever type of tree or whatever type of fruit tree or flower, vegetable that you're growing before you can take it and grow in your yard. Also, you can also use sulfur. Now, when you use sulfur, you want to make sure before you even purchase your tree that when you add sulfur to your native soil, when you're growing in the ground or whether in the containers, it has to break down for at least about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So you want to get you a pH monitor. I still don't have one. I need one, guys. I really do, to test my soil, because acidic soil loves to have a when you grow citrus, they have to have a pH of a 5.5 to a 4.5. You want to be at least a 5.5. That way, it will be okay. And I also added an orange here and the food scraps, and it's great and very beneficial to always add your leftover citrus pills or citrus in general to your tree, whatever type of tree you're growing. It doesn't matter, it's a lemon, blood orange, or orange, a lime. It's very beneficial to feed it back what it dropped or what you just ate, because as you're feeding it back its own nutrients. And that is not a blood orange. That was a clementine, but it's still a citrus, and there's nothing wrong with feeding it something a little bit different. So again, guys, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Until next time, peace.